listen to what he's got to say. Give him some warm attention and applause.
Thank you. Thank you. As David said, my name is Chris Mayer. I'm running for the House of Representatives, District 49, Smyrna Laverne, against Mike Sparks, if anybody knows who that is.
Yes.
I could stand up here and talk about education and Medicaid expansion and infrastructure, but you've heard all this already. Instead, today I think I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, where I come from. I was born in Northeast Ohio, around Cleveland. Grew up there. And they said I was a precocious child. I was reading very early. And my dad always encouraged it by bringing me the newspaper. I would go from the sports section to the opinion page to the local. God, he always encouraged it. And I found he was not a sports fan. So learning about politics was the only way I could have something to talk about with him.
Wow.
Third grade was the Carter-Reagan election. We had a mock election in my class, and it ended up 14 votes for Reagan, 14 for Carter, 1 for John Anderson. That stuck with me though too, because when I told Dad what had happened, he was proud of me for not bowing to pressure and for voting the way I thought was right. Through the Reagan years, I would witness firsthand President Reagan's union busting and the effect it had on my family. My father had a contract he signed in the 60s with the railroad, guaranteed him a lifetime job. Well, 1981, they laid him off. And President Reagan would not allow the union to sue them to enforce the contract. He denied my father his due process under the law. And I got to watch as an 11-year-old kid as he sold off everything he had collected that he'd worked for in his life to that point, just to keep the family afloat. Ended up filing bankruptcy, lost the house, had to go. I grew up out in the country. Not that there's anything wrong with living in the country, but it is not what we were trying to do. The man worked on call for his whole life. They would call him, he had 2 hours to be there, and 1 hour and 20 minutes of that was drive. But he was always very active. He would write his congressman. He would fight the powers that be at work, always trying to do what he thought was right. And I learned a lot from that man. I'm very proud to be his son, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. Fast forward, I moved to the Nashville area, 2005, with what I like to tell people, a guitar and delusions of grandeur. But I did fall in love with the area and decided I'm going to stay here. I love Middle Tennessee. I love this area. I love the people. And yes, I'm a damn Yankee, apparently.
Well, you got here as soon as you could.
Exactly. Back in October, having seen what was happening in our political landscape, I decided I wanted to learn about the people that were going to be running to represent me in the next election. First event I found was for Mr. Reynolds. Went and I met him, and it was very sparsely attended. It was an evening drinks with the candidates, he called it, or cocktails with the candidate. We spoke for quite some time. By the end of the evening, he was asking about my positions on things and asked if I had ever thought about running for office myself, that we needed a candidate to run against Mike Sparks. I hadn't. I mean, the thought had crossed my mind, but God, that's for lawyers and doctors and people with money, right?
Yeah,
I'm a carpenter, for God's sake. We don't elect carpenters to office. But then I told Mom that I was thinking about it, and she decided she was going to tell Dad. What you need to know at this point, Dad is in a nursing home. He's 82 years old, has stage 6 Alzheimer's. He barely knows who Mom is some days. But she told him, hey, Chris is thinking about running for the State House down in Tennessee. And she told me that his eyes cleared, and he started to cry. And he kept saying, I can't believe it.
Wow.
I can't believe my son is picking up my fight when I'm gone.
Wow.
And that's what I'm doing today. I am picking up my father's fight. I'm carrying on the family legacy, and I'm going to take it a step further by actually getting in and making some of the legislation he advocated for all these years. equality for all, whether you're a person of color, LGBTQ, it doesn't matter. We need equality for everyone in the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
We need to expand Medicaid.
Absolutely.
As everyone said before, that's the basis of everything. We need to expand Medicaid, if nothing else, to bring your insurance rates down.
Yes.
Because we won't have to pay for everyone that goes to the emergency room and can't pay the bill.
Right.
We have a healthier workforce, which will increase productivity. We need to improve our infrastructure. As Representative Fitzhugh said, the train idea, I love that idea.
Yes.
And once I'm elected, I look forward to working with you to get that done. Whether I'm working with you, with you still in the House, or working with you as a governor. Either way, it will be my honor.
Wow.
And you too.
Wow.
We'll have to get something through the Senate too. But it's just real simple. I have always been a big Bruce Springsteen fan, and I remember his video in 1985 for the Born to Run, where he said, in this life, nobody wins unless everybody wins. Let's build a better Tennessee. I'm Chris Mayer.
Dynamite, thank you. Man, we need some